Hey guys, this is Drew from ZP Reviews. This is the fourth video in the ZP Reviews Guide to Amazon playlist, and I'd like to go over the third tab in our sheet, the product costs and sales goals. So let's start from the top. So if you came from the last video, we talked about how that the launch optimizer gets updated based on all the numbers that you input in the sheet. And this is probably the most important tab for these numbers. So let's start from the top. So your product costs. So when you're doing your product research and your supplier selection, you're going to be this is the number. This is the main cost of your product. So here is just kind of a dummy number. It's $10. This number needs to be the EXW or FOB cost of acquiring your product. Now, for beginners, we highly recommend that you go for DDP shipping, which is air shipping through either FedEx or DHL or whoever you decide to choose. But you're going to get a price that is quoted from the suppliers. So just a quick rundown. EXW is where they do all the work to get the box just on their shipping platform at their factory. So whereas DDP is they're going to be liable to get the product all the way to America. And that's the main reason why the DDP shipping is generally favored for new sellers, because the liability on getting your product is going to be on the supplier. So if you're new to this, definitely go with DDP. Okay, so you'll get this price from your searching Alibaba or your other sourcing places. What we recommend to do is create more than one copy of this sheet for each product that you're planning to try, or either just to see them side by side and then fill in your information here. So the next number down, this is rarely seen, and generally we recommend you talk to your suppliers to get this done, but this is prep and pack. Amazon has very specific rules on how they want their boxes shipped to them. If you go through a lesser supplier that doesn't pack well, you may need this service. I want to say it's about 10 cents per unit. It just depends on how heavy the unit is. So this is open, but what you would do is probably talk to them. And some suppliers will charge you, some won't. It just depends. It's going to come down to how well you negotiate. And that's definitely gonna be up to you. So I definitely recommend that you get this covered at the supplier. Packaging. So packaging, this is kind of like a hidden thing. Here it's very cheap. Like, we actually were able to use bags, and we actually were able to get a very cheap packaging cost. This can sometimes be done by the supplier. Sometimes you'll have to get a whole different supplier to do this, but it's not that bad. I want to make it clear. It takes a lot of trust to do this, but like in our case for our first product, we had two companies. We had the company that created the product, and then we had a packager. So what would happen is that our product would get created at the first supplier. That those shipments would go to the packager, who would create the packaging, also pack it, and then from there it would get sent across the ocean. So, but needless to say, this number is going to be the cost per unit. So don't put your total cost of packaging here, put the cost per unit here. The next number is shipping and taxes. Now, this is a sore point for a lot of people right now because of the Trump era that we're in. This could be high, this could be low. It's going to depend on the niche you're in, but definitely don't get that wrong. Make sure you know exactly what the duties and customs and fees that you're going to pay, because this could sink, and this is going to be all part of your landed price. Now, this next number is the PayPal wire fee. We do this on a per unit basis as well. If you can, try not to spend too much here. If you think that your supplier is trying to game you, definitely either send us a message and we can estimate it ourselves and see if we can help you out. But definitely try to make this low. I want to say PayPal is, I think, 4%, but once again, just like every other number, use the total amount of that fee and then divide it per unit. So once you've input those numbers, you're going to get a landed price. Now this is the most important number you have, because so this landed price is what gets sent back to the optimizer tab and ultimately helps build all of the numbers here, and it goes into how your break-even cost is calculated. So your break-even cost is heavily based on that landed price, and as you can see, it's just 1033 here, yet the break-even saying 26. The main reason for that is because this product, as it's currently listed out, has more than just this landed price baked in, so your product may be different. And then the next number is simply this landed price times the amount, your order quantity. So, and that would come from this tab. So these two numbers are the most important numbers on this sheet. The following section is the sales goals that I mentioned from the last video. So you want to input your numbers here based on your product research. We use Helium 10 for our product research. We also have JungleScout. I'll be honest, you know, the way we have it is we have the JungleScout Chrome extension, and then we use the Helium 10 software, but we don't use JungleScout's actual like software. We don't think you can have more than one. I don't think it's worth it, especially if you're starting out. Just get one and you'll probably be okay. But yeah, this is where you'll input these numbers. Very important to put honest numbers here. Don't put a dream in here. You definitely want to do your projections with conservative numbers. We'd rather be pleasantly surprised than disappointed. That's our kind of MO. So next is your Amazon cost, your fulfillment cost. So this is all a equation. I actually probably should change the this tab here to orange, but this is your referral fee. This is always a flat rate. It's always going to be a percentage of your sale price. This price changes. Now here it's based on your list price. So this number is actually going to be less than what's displayed, but once again, we always stay conservative. But this referral price you can't get away from. This is basically, this goes to the advertisers, all the people that are spending money to move your product, which is Amazon and all of its affiliates. The next number is the fulfillment fee. This is a flat fee, and if you click this link that we included here, hold on, it might have come on my other side, but let me just move this over so you can see it. But this page, it shows you that your fulfillment and storage fees are all based on the size, and it's so the one tab is based on weight, and then this other size is based on the volume. So if you can avoid, as you can see, these prices are big, $8, $9, $73. This is for items that are big, like not necessarily heavy, but big. If you have a choice, go with a heavier product over something like a say a whiteboard, you know, something huge, because that's where you're going to pay a lot to Amazon. So our first product was in the 1 pound or less category, and it was I think it came out to $281. These numbers have changed, so be sure to come back to this once in a while, because it seems to change here and there. You'll also find your storage fees also found here, and Amazon actually has a nice little calculator, and we recommend using their stuff. Like when all else fails, don't be afraid to use Amazon, because Amazon is a big company for a reason. They definitely do good business. Don't listen to people that say that they're the devil. I mean, honestly, without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. So I recommend a lot of their services, to be honest. So once again, so that's where you'll input these numbers here, and then you'll also take your storage fees. Your storage fees won't be a big number early on. This is a number that begins to scale once you have lots of products. The more boxes you have, the higher this number is going to get, and it's all based on the fees you saw on the next page. So now that you've covered the landed price as well as the Amazon fulfillment cost, you get your price per unit sold, and you see where that number is now is $23.77, and if you look back, the break even was 26. So according to this, 23 of that 26 is all in the product, and then the remaining $3 in our calculation comes from your upfront cost. So you can see that actually your upfront cost is very negligible relative to the actual cost of the product, and that's kind of just a relationship you're generally going to see unless you're maybe too crazy with the upfront costs. So the next portions we added is kind of it's kind of a case-by-case basis. So we included a link to courses. Now we don't do a full course. It's just something we don't personally believe in. But we do know that there are some people that want the full guides where you get every last thing that's talked about and how to do this, how to do that. You can get that through several places. Now we recommend Kevin David. Kevin David does a free webinar, and funny story, you could probably watch his webinars and get a good gist of what you need to do, but they're gonna charge you to get like the, you know, spell it out for you per se. But you know, it might be worth your time. So all you have to do is, if you want to look at any of these, you just check the drop down and you just click this visit page link, and the visit page link will update based on the drop down. And the next tab is your social media advertising. This is going to come into play once you start learning about how to launch your product, as well as how to advertise it, you know, beyond that. There's another webinar we recommend. It's good to just watch it. I'm not saying you should pay it, but say if you do, say if you got his like complete course, it'll update here so you can see, and then this will add to your upfront cost. So just, you know, keep in mind, I'm not saying that courses are bad or that you should avoid them. Sometimes they're valuable, but once again, like I said in the last video, you need to be remembering what's important at the end of the day is how much are you paying for your investment, how much money do you expect to get. If it makes sense to you, say you have enough money in your investment that your upfront costs, it's not a big deal, then maybe it's worthwhile. But otherwise, we just recommend just making a financial decision with it. So, you know, choose however you may. It could be the best investment or the worst investment depending on, you know, what your background is. So just wanted to get that in there. But we do recommend this course if you're going to do anything. And we also included some of his mini courses that we recommend, like this PPC one. I think this is high value. I think if you're going to do anything, probably do that one. That's a good one. PPC as a whole, you think it's easy until you start getting into it. So alright, so this next section is our sourcing services. This is going to be kind of here and there. Not everyone needs this, but sourcing agent, this is for people that really struggle with talking to people overseas. Zally Imports was who we used. I don't know if they're still taking customers. I may have to find a new one for you guys. But what these guys will do is they'll be the middleman to get you your best prices, get you good, trusting suppliers. I mean, when you go on Alibaba, it's kind of the Wild West at times. You don't really know. There's a lot of factors that can help you, like how long that business has been open, how much volume of shipments. You can also see their tabs. But I mean, if you don't understand that, or you don't have the time to learn it, it might be worth your while to get a sourcing agent, but it's like I said, look at how much it costs you and make a decision that way. Don't just do it because it sounds good. The next thing I'm going to say you probably should just do regardless is the inspection. Your products, depending on, well, I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm an engineer. This is my background, is engineering, and is specifically actually quality engineering. I'm actually certified in Six Sigma. Get an inspection. Factories, when given the option, are going to send you crap. You know, it's like they'll say 100% good product, 100% good product, and next thing you know, you end up with 95. And then the 5% that's bad goes to your customers, and those are one-star reviews. And trust me when I say this, you want to minimize that as much as possible. $300 sounds like a lot, but it's actually negligible. I'm telling you, compared to, say, a course or anything else, this $300 will save your life. Because if you send a box of junk to Amazon and Amazon either sees it while they're packing it or the customer sees it, they can take you off of Amazon. Like, you just, I get the inspection. That's probably the #1 upfront cost that I would always recommend, is get that inspection. I even did a video on it. It's so worthwhile. So next thing is a freight forwarder. There's 2 reasons you want to use a freight forwarder, and this is either for heavy products, big products, or you want to just start saving money on your shipping. You're definitely going to spend less to use a freight forwarder than to use DHL or FedEx, but you're also going to get maybe not FedEx or DHL service. Because of this, we link the one we use, which is Freightos. We've never had a problem with them. Very good company. But once again, this is a specific case. I wouldn't recommend doing it on your first product unless it's heavy or really big. So, you know, choose wisely. Choose your prices. You know, choose what you think is worth it based on what you're seeing here. So, this is the rundown of this video. I explained product cost, your sales goals, and Amazon fulfillment. So make sure that you get these numbers right. Always go back, double check it, make sure it's accurate, because if you put a bad number in here that's not right, it's gonna throw off everything here. So make sure that when you're going through this that it's very accurate, because anything that's misleading here or not correct here can throw your projection off and you can have some problems. So once again, this is Drew from ZP Reviews. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and hit the notification bell for updates. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks.